Kingdom Covenant Church, is there a word from the Lord? You know it. On Sunday, April 24th, the word will be coming forth from Apostle Stephanie Chapman, host of the new inspirational talk show, The Mott Spot. So you need to attend, tune in, and visit, because I promise you don't want to miss it. On Sunday, April 24th, hear from Apostle Stephanie Chapman. And until then, always be blessed and favored, my friend.
Man, I'm overworked, overwhelmed, and undervalued. It's like my worry has me trapped up against the wall. I can't take it. I'm about to lose it. It's like all the thoughts in my head are leading me down the wrong roads, and no matter what I do, life keeps coming at me too fast.
Does this sound like you? Well, Kingdom Covenant Church, we want to help you to think thoughts that are higher and rise to a higher place of mental health. On Wednesdays, April 27th and May 4th at 7 p.m. at Kingdom Covenant Church, we are going to have a dynamic mental health specialist come and help us to find the time to sharpen our mind of Christ that's on the inside of us. You don't want to miss this. We all battle thoughts in our minds, but let's get rooted in the Word of God and find out ways to help us stay kingdom-minded. Until then, be blessed.
Welcome to the Mott Spot.
Basically, you'll taste and see together. We keep it real so you can feel we are glad that you came through.
A place, an atmosphere where you would not be judged by your truth. Welcome to a place where, you know how we like tea. Here at the Mott Spot, our tea will be sweet. It would not be bitter. It would not be to tear you down. It would be to build you up, giving you a moment or a time to share your story.
The Mott Spot. The Mott Spot.
I've always known about you is that you're going to deal with your truth, and that you're going to be walking integrity. When he said it to me, I was like, girl, I'm so proud of you, because there's so many pastors that would have just continued to sit there and let them, they died, the sheep died, the grass cried, everything died. But you saw a need for them to continue to grow, but also for you to continue to grow. So you made a really grown up, sober, and vigilant decision.
Hey, come on and sip your tea in ministry. Come taste and see relationships can be real and loving. Laughter is medicine. Now tell me how you've been. I believe that you can win. A moment of transparency. Hey. Kingdom Covenant Church, is there a word from the Lord? You know it. On Sunday, April 24th, the word will be coming forth from Apostle Stephanie Chapman, host of the new inspirational talk show, The Mott Spot. So you need to attend, tune in, and visit, because I promise you don't want to miss it. On Sunday, April 24th, hear from Apostle Stephanie Chapman. And until then, always be blessed and favored, my friend.
Man, I'm overworked, overwhelmed, and undervalued. It's like my worry has me trapped up against the wall. I can't take it. I'm about to lose it. It's like all the thoughts in my head are leading me down the wrong roads, and no matter what I do, life keeps coming at me too fast.
Does this sound like you? Well, Kingdom Covenant Church, we want to help you to think thoughts that are higher and rise to a higher place of mental health. On Wednesdays, April 27th and May 4th at 7 p.m. at Kingdom Covenant Church, we are going to have a dynamic mental health specialist come and help us to find the time to sharpen our mind of Christ that's on the inside of us. You don't want to miss this. We all battle thoughts in our minds, but let's get rooted in the Word of God and find out ways to help us stay kingdom-minded. Until then, be blessed.
Welcome to a moment of transparency, the Mott Spot. So excited today for my guest. I have an opportunity to bring my best friend on. Yes, and her mother.
Those of you don't know, I lost my husband. Life changed. Here I was, now a single mom trying to raise 3 girls, 3 unique, different girls.
But I was very different. You know, I can attest looking, back on our childhood, thinking about my sisters and, mommy and Janae and Kristen's relationship. I always wonder why it was the way that it was.
Hey, come on and sip your tea in ministry. Come taste and see. Relationships can be really relevant. Laughter is medicine. Now tell me how you've been. I believe that you can win. Moment of transparency. Hey. Spot. Hey, come on and sip your tea in ministry. Come taste and see. Relationships can be really relevant. Laughter is medicine. Now tell me how you've been. I believe that you can win. Moment of transparency. Hey.
Welcome to a moment of transparency, the Mott Spot. We're so excited to be here today. Another episode of Launching Out into the Deep. We thank you all who are live watching us. We appreciate your support, and we appreciate you coming in and just sharing with us the moment of transparency. I'm so excited today for my guest. I have an opportunity to bring my best friend on. Yes, and her mother. We have with us today Janice Willis and Audrey Ragland. Amen. I had to stop and think like, okay, but Audrey Ragland, her mother. And today I have them here. Our theme have been, how do we get here? And I think a lot of times people do have experiences in their life that really could be a blessing to other people. So as I journey with them, and I just think that their story of how did they get here, a lot of times we don't think that we go through anything or we experience anything with our children as a mother and even as a child, a daughter. So I just wanted to bring them on today to just share their story and allow them. We know that The Mott Spot is a place where there's judgment-free zone. It's a safe place. We all in our lives, we like tea, but here on the Mott Spot, our tea is sweet. It's not bitter. It's not going to tear you down. It's not going to destroy you. It's going to impart in you and to build you and strengthen you, and most importantly, to let you know that you're not alone, that you're not the only one that has dealt with or is dealing with what you're dealing with, to hear someone else's story. So this is what the Mott Spot is all about. So we are just so excited to have our guests with us. It makes it real easy because I know them. So, we're going to have a little fun. Both of them are hilarious as well as myself. So we're going to have a good time today. Okay. So what I've started to do with the My Spot is just asking a random question. Would you rather be? What would you rather be, one or something? So I have 2 questions here that I'm going to ask you guys. Would you rather wear pants 3 sizes too big or shoes 3 sizes too small?
I think I would rather wear the pants 3 sizes too big because rather than the 3 sizes too small shoes. Why? Because, see, the pants, you can be creative. I can create a whole new design with the pants.
Yes.
I can make something new out of it.
Yes.
But, honey, the shoes, you won't be able to walk. You will be crawling.
Absolutely.
So let me put on the right size shoes and let me create a new design.
I love it.
With the 3 sizes too big pants because, I've been there.
Yes. Yes, I have too. Yes. Lost all this weight and had to be creative, okay?
Absolutely.
Yes. What would you rather?
I would probably go with the shoes.
My Lord.
Tell us about that.
Because I think I could just open the back of it.
Creativity come in all forms and all ways, and we just got to be different. We just got to be different, and we're going to open the back of that shoe and let our feet hang out. And drag.
And get a pedicure.
Every week.
Yeah,
Absolutely. I think I'm like you. I think I would want to have the pants that's 3 sizes too small because I can do something. Roll them up, turn them over, put a pin in them, sew them up, do something to make them fit me. With them shoes, that's just launching out in the deep. And that's also, that's exciting as well. Launching out in the deep, just being different. And that is good. And even you think about it, a moment of transparency, sharing your story, being different, not covering up. Now, I do believe with wisdom, you tell your story to the degree that you feel comfortable with.
Right.
And that is key because you can tell your story, and it's not that you're not telling the truth. You just telling the part that that will be okay. Because everybody is not ready to hear your true story. Absolutely. Like your whole, not your true story, but your whole true story. So there are parts that you can share that can be a blessing to someone else. So I got one more question, and we're going to see which one. I think I'm going to do this one. Would you rather only wear sweatpants for the rest of your life or only be able to wear suits for the rest of your life?
Sweatpants.
I think I would want to wear suits. It goes with my personality.
Yes, ma'am.
And not only that, it goes with what I do every day for a living.
Yes.
I can't wear sweatpants to work.
Yes.
So, suits.
Yes.
Sweatpants.
Oh, I knew she was going to say sweatpants, and I knew you were going to say suits. And what am I going to say?
Suits.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I most definitely would rather wear suits. So we're excited about that. So it's just to bring creativity and just kind of give us an icebreaker while you're here on the Mott Spot. So that was really fun. I know that was fun with y'all as well. And once you ask your neighbor what would they do, ask them the same question and see what they say. Okay, so how do we get here? I'm so excited because, first of all, to be able to see you guys' relationship now versus when I met y'all. And, I just thank God that, walking through this with Janice and her sharing her heart to me was such a blessing. But I'm just so in awe of God, of what he has done. And today I would just like y'all to, share your story at what point, however you want to share it, and we can just kind of flow with that, because I want to be able to give you a chance to share what you desire to share.
Right.
Okay?
Okay. Just to start off, I have 3 daughters, 3 unique daughters. Janice is a twin, which is, they're like day and night sometimes. And they all have different personalities. And I have, as a mom, you have a different person, you have a different relationship with each one of your children, even though they came out of the same womb. I have a different relationship with Janae, I have a different relationship with Kristen, and I have a different relationship with Janice. And at the beginning, those of you don't know, I lost my husband. Life changed. Here I was, now a single mom trying to raise 3 girls, 3 unique, different girls. So it was very challenging at times. And as you know, you have to have time with each one of them. You have to have that niche with each one of them, and I did. Janice was a little different. She had her own mind, her own desires, and sometimes I felt as a mom I couldn't reach her. And she launched out to something different and kind of caused some distance between us. But as a mom, how many of you know, you just keep on praying. And that's what brought me through. She was a type, now Janice, I didn't talk to her every day, which bothered me, because I knew I wanted to, I'm a mama hen. Yeah. So you want to have that conversation every day, and then I didn't, and it was hurtful. And then when I did, it was always short. It was like, yeah, no, okay, all right, bye. I was like, God, what did I do? How, and we never had that time to sit down and say, what am I doing wrong, or what's wrong, or we wouldn't tell each other the truth. She would say nothing's wrong, and I would say, okay, all right, because I walked on eggshells around her, and that's hard to do when you try to walk on eggshell around your own child.
Absolutely.
And it got to the point where days go by, I didn't talk. Weeks go by, I didn't talk, I didn't see her. Hurtful. What have I done? We're not perfect. I never say I was perfect.
Right.
I did some things that I did not appreciate, but how many of you know that God is a forgiving God?
He is.
And once I've forgiven myself, it got to the point where I didn't care about if anyone else forgiven me, because I had it right with God. But did I have it right with my girls?
Yeah.
Did I have it right with Janice? And that was very hurtful, and she kept it in. Held on to it, and it drove a total burial between us, caused division. I did not like that.
Yes.
Because, that's a girl. Mom got to protect her baby,
Yes.
And I kept saying, but I kept praying.
Yeah.
God, I don't know how to reach her. God, if it's me, change me, show me myself, how to be a mirror on the wall.
Yes.
What am I not doing to connect with my baby?
Yes.
The one that God gave me, the one that I birthed, the one that I labored, the one that I carried for 9 months, the one that I cried for, the one that I prayed for. Lord, you're going to have to bridge this.
Yes.
I didn't know what to say to her. I reached out to a counselor. You probably didn't know this, but I did, because it was tearing me to pieces. And it got to the point where I had to talk through her sisters to talk to her.
Wow.
Should not be.
That's right.
I would call her twin. Hey, you talked to Janice?
Yeah.
And she said, yeah, Mom. I said, well, she's not picking up my phone call, or she's not calling me back, or whatever. That's hurtful as a mom.
Yes.
But I kept on praying.
Yes. Yes.
And I said, God, I said, if you do this for me, and I said, God, if you're a God that you can do anything,
Absolutely.
you are God can change any relationships. God, you got to fix this.
Yes.
Because plenty of nights I cried.
Yes.
Because some nights I didn't know where she was. And I'm like, okay, God, you know.
Yes.
And I I'm mother hen. I don't want no one to hurt my baby. Who does?
Yes.
Who wants that?
That's right.
So, but God.
Yes.
My God.
Yes.
But God.
Yes, ma'am. You know, I thank God because when I met Janice, one of my assignments I knew I had in her life was to bridge your relationship back with your mother. And if she be honest, and I know she would tell you, I said, you've got to make things right with your mother. And immediately I started praying, and I started talking to her, and I started to not only hear her heart change, but I started to see her heart change. And she wanted to get right. And I can never remember, she called me. She was watching, what's the show? All American. Yeah. She was watching All American, and she said that the Lord dealt with her. Yeah. And I think I'm going to give her an opportunity to share her part with that. But, so you go ahead. Have your moment of transparency.
Okay.
Right.
So just to piggyback a little on how my mother started when she was saying, you know, I was my own person, you know, the way I think. And, you know, we can still to this day say I still have those kind of moments. But I was very different. You know, I can attest looking, you know, back on our childhood, you know, thinking about my sisters and, you know, Mommy and Janae and Kristen's relationship. You know, I always wonder why it was the way that it was. And not really knowing if it was her or if it was me, but just having a moment to look at yourself, you know. And a lot of things happened when we was younger, you know, as she said, she lost her husband, which was my father. And me and my father had a bond like no other. So to lose that at a very, not young age, but at an age you wouldn't think that you would grow up without, you know, your father. Things kind of changed. Like she said, life changed. And because we didn't have an established relationship, I started doing things to exclude my family because that's what I thought was kind of right, you know. Now today I thank the Lord that I know that that's wrong, but hey, that's how we got here.
Wow.
So going through that, and to be honest, it was some relationships that I built to try to replace my mother.
Yes.
And to look now today to see how that can look, how it can feel, how it can be like, wow, you know, you did that. You know, talking to yourself like, wow, you know, you did that. And to see that when you know something is in you and you know that you have to get to a destiny, the Lord is going to allow you to see yourself in it.
Absolutely.
And I'm glad that He didn't allow me to try to point fingers I must say, I'm glad some of the stuff happened in this process, because I realized who was really real. I realized who was being of God. I realized who was really for me, because what child does not have a relationship with their living parent?
That's right.
That doesn't make sense.
That's right.
So just the experiences that we had, as she said, I used to talk to my sisters to find out what's going on with Mommy.
Yeah.
And it was weird, but it's like everybody knew what we were doing. Why are you calling me to talk about Mommy? Or why is Mommy called? Why don't y'all just call each other? You know?
Yeah.
So we went through that for a little while, and a couple more things transpired in our lives and in my life. As she said, you know, she would not know where I am. So a couple years ago, right before we got where we are today, I fell in love. And my family knew nothing about it. They didn't know anything. But during that process, I came and just told them, I'm getting married. And they like, you getting married? Okay. But my sister, my twin, she knew everything.
Yeah.
And, I just thank God that we had a relationship that she did not expose
Wow.
my hiding. You know what I mean? And I appreciate about that. I appreciate that about her in our relationship. Even though mommy was calling her trying to figure out stuff. But so, yeah, I fell in love and I met my husband. And I'll tell anybody today, my husband really saved my life.
Yeah.
And even though when we first, got together, a lot of people had, a problem with the age difference.
Yeah.
But God knew what I needed.
Yeah.
Right.
He knew what was going to capture me all over again.
Yes.
So even without my husband really understanding what was going on, he did his part. And he used to tell me all the time, like, because he's a mama's boy. He used to tell me all the time, man, if I could see my mom right now, I would love to see my mom. If I could just get to her and get a hug, I would love that. So then it started like playing like my mom was right down the street.
Yeah.
And I can't even go, I'm not even strong enough to just go lay on her when I knew that's what I needed.
Right.
So he helped me through that. And even, when me and you met, that's something you used to instill in me all the time. Like, talk to your mom. You talk to your mom. How's your mom doing? And you used to hate when I said, I don't know. What do you mean you don't know? So that kind of played like, dang, like maybe it's me, and I've done a lot. And I know I've said a lot, done a lot to hurt my mom. And I knew even if she did something in the past that I may have not understood, then who am I to judge? I'm somebody judging who don't understand. That don't make sense.
Yeah.
So time went on, and come time I get married, and I think I struggled even in the ceremony and even the leading up to the weeks before of getting married. Like, what bride doesn't have their mom?
Yeah.
And I couldn't blame nobody but myself.
Yeah.
Because my sisters got married. I seen what they had, and I could have had the same thing, but I chose not to open my mouth, be transparent with her as far as what I needed from her.
Yeah.
And here I am getting ready to get married, my mom, and I knew it hurt her for her not to even know what's going on with my wedding.
Yeah.
Like, she don't even know who I'm really getting ready to marry. All she know is Dwight. That's all she know. And I can understand today from her point of view why she was the way she was.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So, got married, wedding went on, time went on, and I think a couple weeks after I got married, this show, All American, came out. And I'm pretty sure we all have seen All American. We've seen the episode. We've seen the commercial of it. And it's about a young boy who has his own mind, and he's trying to fix everything but himself. And I watched it, and make a long story short, in the episodes, he always tried to figure out what was missing. But in his living father, he knew nothing of. He had no relationship with, so that part of him was missing. So his mom did some things, too, that he didn't understand, that he judged her for. So time went on, and in one of the episodes, I was watching, and it was really late at night. My husband was asleep. And in the episode, him and his mom had a conversation. After he found out about his dad and everything, his mom had a conversation. And she looked at him, and she said the same exact words my mom told me. And that was, if God can free me and heal me from it, and I can forgive myself and God can forgive me, then I'm not going to let nobody else hold me to it. You have to find it in yourself to forgive me. And I was like, dang, this sounds too familiar. This it kind of hit home. So I sat there on my couch, and I just sat there and kept watching the episode, and I saw him weep in the episode. So I just started weeping. I started doing what he was doing. So in that, the Lord really dealt with me, and I found myself walking around my house in my living room praying, Lord, I don't want to go to sleep until you get this out of me. So that went on for hours and hours, and just to hear my husband say, yes, Lord, yes, Lord, yes, Lord, in my background, which lets you know I had somebody in agreement with me.
Yes.
So time went on, the next morning came, and I think I sent you a long text message because I still wasn't at the point, even though the Lord took it from me, I wasn't at the point to still launch out in the deep, have a conversation, face to face. I love to text something if I got something to say because it's easy for me.
Okay.
So I don't have to really hear the response right there. So, that's normal. So I text her, and it was a very long text message. I mean, couple pages. And I think the Lord already prepared her because she said to me, you don't know what this meant to me.
Yes.
I love you, baby girl. Yes. Mommy is always here.
Yes.
Always.
Yes.
I promise you, y'all, the next time I see my mom,
Yes.
you would think this is the type of relationship we had all our life.
Yes.
Because it was like something just gelled. Even my sisters was like, okay, I could do this with all of us around each other. They was like, woo, ain't no teaching going on. They're not walking no eggshells. They being free. They being affectionate. They're loving on one another. They're being there. And I think at a point in time, I knew what the Lord was doing because my mom had got sick. And me and Janae always say Kristen is her favorite.
Yeah.
But at that time, Kristen got married. She was being a wife. So, when you get married, you cling on to your spouse's family. So at that point, Kristen could not be there, and Janae has kids. So it only left me. So I had no choice to step up, take care of mommy, be there for mommy, spend that time together, bond while she's in the hospital. Even though it was a situation, we still had time for us.
Absolutely.
And, I'm glad that even today, I thank God for our relationship, because I can tell my mom anything and not think like, oh, mommy got she Lord, mother saved. She gonna be like, girl, why? So, but now I'm thankful that she's opened up to what we go through as our generation. She's not closed-minded on how she was raised but she has learned to just accept me for me. Even though she still say, girl, you crazy. She tell my husband all the time, I'm praying for you, son. But I know that's true love. And I know that's genuine. But today, our relationship is like no other. Even the process of coming here today, I was nervous. I don't really know about her, but I know I was nervous because this is something we never did before.
Yes.
And I truly believe that my generation, and even generations to come, I think that they always think that it's our parents.
Yes.
And I go by a thing saying that science says that we get certain things like certain amount of percentage of chromosome
right,
from our parents and from our father and from our mother. And when I learned that, even though my father is dead, I know there's only a certain percentage that my mother her capacity was built to be. And when I learned that, wow, she's capped out. This is what she can do. Because this, even from the beginning of us being formed and all those things. So when I learned that and dissect that with the way I think, I'm telling you, our relationship is like no other. And I really commend my mother treating me like Jesus. There were open arms. Always, I can always go back home. And even one point, I went back home in my process. She still didn't know where I was, but I just popped up on her door one day and was like, can I stay here? And she looking at me like, we don't talk, but come on in, baby. So I appreciate, even in my wrongdoing, she can still today love me and love me as from a mom's perspective. And I'm so glad that I learned that nobody can be your mom, but the one that actually
That's
birthed
right.
you. You can
That's
have a
right.
spiritual mother.
That's right.
You can have even someone you look up to as a mother, but no one can mother you or has the capacity to love you like your mother.
That's right. That's right.
And once I realized that, a lot of areas in my life has healed. My marriage is good. My marriage is better. You know, and even with the help of others and even my mom, like, just because you seen me do it, I mean, that's right.
That's right.
Right.
That's
And that
right.
she can do that. That she
Right.
can say, hey, just because you seen me do it, don't mean that that's gonna work for you.
Yes.
Right.
And I'm just blessed. I'm really blessed in that
Yes.
we are here today.
Yes.
Good. Yes, yes. Y'all said so much. But I do want to point out when you're in any type of relationship, I believe that there has to come a moment of transparency of what you done that you could have done better, or you could, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Right,
You
right.
taking ownership
Absolutely.
of where you are and what you've done. And I think that is so key, because a lot of times when things happen in relationships, we always want to point out the other person's stuff.
Absolutely.
But I believe that we should have a moment of transparency and be true about what we done in the
Absolutely.
process. We can always say, but you. No, this is a we thing, because a relationship is built on more than one person.
Yeah.
That's true.
It's not just you by yourself, so you have to take into account of the other person. And a lot of times we think that parents are so far from us that they just don't know what
Right.
we doing, don't know what
Right.
we've been through, don't know what we talk. But
They
y'all
already
forget
know.
that we've
Nothing's
already
new under the sun.
nothing. Like we've already experienced those things, and
Right.
we are the last to say, listen to what our parents say.
Absolutely.
And I was sitting up here and I was thinking about, like, when my mother was living. I lost my mother in 2014, but it was nothing for me to get in my car, drive 45 miles, and my husband is my witness, and roll my mother's hair. Like, I'm going, baby, can you come roll my hair? I'm going to roll.
Right.
I'm going to roll my mother's hair.
Right.
And even though we didn't have a good relationship in the beginning, but that was my best friend, my baby. And I love her. And I was thinking about how you said that it wasn't established. That relationship wasn't established like that. No matter, even though we are parents and daughters, we still have to establish.
Yeah.
We still have to build. We still have to put work in.
Yeah.
We still have to. It's not just because, I'm just your mama and I just do, or I'm just your child. I just do. No, you have to build it, and you have to work and do your part in it. And then the other key point you were saying that, the chromosome, we were only created to do what we were
so
supposed to
much,
do.
Right.
Absolutely.
Because
portion.
yes, and you have like mothers being fathers as well, and the kids looking like you ain't doing, but you don't understand the responsibility. And even I think about Janae, she's losing her husband now, she's raising her 2 kids. But I'm gonna tell y'all something. Shout out to the Raglan clan. I really admire you. I greatly admire you, because you are so close-knit with your children. And I told Janice, I was like, I'm jealous of your mama. I mean, really. I said, I'm jealous, because let me tell you something. Those of you who are listening, you have kids. This woman of God, they have a group, like where they FaceTime each other. And I'm telling you, they FaceTime each other about 20 times a day.
We do.
Like, just popping up. And, I'm a part of the family now, so they even created a FaceTime where I can get involved. And it's so amazing that they do things together. They were doing things at least once a week. I think maybe they might do it every other week or something, but go to the other's house and have dinner. Like, prepare dinner. They would do things together. And I'm like, I so miss that, because it was 10 of us, and that's what we did with our siblings when our mother was living.
Right.
But mama's gone, so we don't do that anymore. But we done that every weekend. We grew up like that. Every weekend we would have people at our house, and we would always, be together. That was establishing and building that relationship. And then when our mom died, it just kind of left. So I celebrate you, woman of God. Before many people, whoever's watching, I celebrate you, because you are a true mother, and you deserve all hats off. And I tell Janice, I laugh, because let me tell y'all about Mother. Mother will send cash apps. And that's when I say, Lord, I want to be a part of the family. Mother will send, and y'all don't play with me. I'm talking $500 cash apps. She have 3 girls. She would send cash app to them just randomly. And she be calling me, telling me about it. I was like, girl, what we going to eat? So I'm going to stop playing, what we going to eat?
Yeah.
And I mean, I just so celebrate you because I can see, first of all, think about where she was when I met her. And my part in it because I prayed. So to see it, it's like amazing to me. And the reason why I wanted to bring them on the show because those of you who are watching that has the same relationships with your mother or your daughter, it can be restored.
Yes, it can.
Absolutely.
Anything is possible with God.
Yes.
I kept praying. And that's the key. God is so awesome. I asked God to bring her back home.
Yeah.
Like you said, I like to touch my babies. I like to see them. I don't want them to move out of state. I want to be near them. Like you say, I thrive on hearing their voices, seeing them. Just like I just got back from Arizona early this morning for a week's vacation in a desert, believe it or not, a desert. But I'm ready to see my babies. I'm ready to see my babies, and they are a blessing to me. They keep me going, and our relationship is top notch. And the other prayer that I had, I wanted all of us to fellowship together.
Yes.
That was my desire. I remember ministering one Sunday morning, and the Lord spoke, and I said, I'm speaking stuff in the atmosphere. I said, I want my babies to come home. Do you remember that, Janice? I want us to fellowship. I want us to dance together. I want us to cry together.
I think you used me in your sermon too, right? Yeah.
The Lord did that. and when she came back, it just did something to me as a mom. That like that mother hen. She want her to be around them, know. And not that I am Superwoman, not that I have all the answers. It's just that I love, and when I love deep. That's anybody.
Absolutely, and it's
anybody.
amazing because those of you who don't know, Janice was a part of Word of Truth.
Yes.
And when Word of Truth closed, Janice was my adjutant, so she like the best servant on earth. Amen. Shout out, best servant. She just knew everything to do, and she did it. And when I closed the ministry, I was grieving to the point I was like, Lord, and my prayer was, let her go home. I said, you go back to your mama's church. And and she was kind of, trying to decide, like, didn't want to go to nobody's church at some point, just church stuff. We all been there because it was days I don't want to go. So, she just struggled with it. But I'm telling you, when she came to me and told me that she was going back home, I was like, oh, my God. I was so happy because I knew that was a prayer of yours. And I was so happy that you were able to have all your children there worshiping with you because that was your heart
I remember
desire.
the day, too, that I went back. I think you wasn't feeling good. And she had some kind of pain going on. And she was in service, but you know when somebody's kind of like not feeling well, they kind of like spaced out. And I think she was actually hunched over. And I don't even think she knew that I was at church, but the spirit was high in church. And I was actually by myself because I think my husband was out of town. And like it was like the spirit just kept like punching me in my back, like pushing me. So I was like, okay. I'm just sitting there looking around like, nah, I'm good. I ain't really trying to do this no more. I ain't really trying to do church no more. And then when I happened to look to my left, and I saw my mom hunched over. And all I saw was like a protecting, covering kind of posture. So it's like, all I knew was like, okay, daggone, let me go. So I ran to the church, and I think something was going on. And I told the first lady happened to walk towards me, and I told her, all I could say was, I just want to come home.
Yes.
I just want to come home. And I don't think she still didn't know what was going on until somebody went and got her, and she lifted, and then she got up immediately and walked towards me, and we wept like no other. And something I just want to say when it comes to relationships is, even though something has transpired with you and someone else, don't always look for a conversation. Because reality is, we may think that we want to know why. We may think that we want to have answers, but are we really prepared for those answers?
That's right.
So to those that's watching, to us, I just want to say, as building relationships, even with with family or those outside of your family, if something happens, don't always think that it has to be a conversation.
That is good. That is really, really key, because a lot of times, when you've gotten past a point of something within yourself, you done made it, I done arrived there, and then you want to sit down and have a conversation, and then what do? You revisit that.
Right.
You go back, and you could be back in a stuck place when God has already brought you out of that.
Absolutely.
And we have to understand that and just not continue to replay these things in our head. When you forgive somebody, everybody say, well, I forgive you, but I don't forget.
Go on.
It is a process and forget, but you have to forget. You have to forget, because if you don't forget, it's going to continue in your mind. And guess what's going to happen? That unforgiveness is going to rear back up, and it's going to overtake you. So you have to be in a posture always of forgiving. And I look at it like this. I don't compare myself with nobody that walked this earth like me.
Right.
I compare myself to Jesus. Amen. And if he can forgive me, talk to me, somebody. Right? If he can forgive me for me and my unrighteousness, my stinking thinking, as they say, then who am I not to forgive somebody else?
That's so true.
Absolutely. We should lend out that same forgiveness that Jesus gave us, because we are so unworthy. Yeah. He makes us worthy. Right. He makes us to be able to sit in the places that we sit.
Absolutely.
He makes us worthy to do the things that he has called us to do. So I just celebrate this relationship today, because I got a little glimpse of what it was before we got here.
Right. And just to add to that, I was jealous of y'all relationship because I felt that you were clinging to another mother. And I'm like, and I used to tell your sisters, I birthed her. To be real, she came out here.
That's right. That's right.
Right.
That's
you know
right.
what I mean?
That's
And I said, and I said, what? And I kept asking myself, what do they have, or what are they giving her that I couldn't give you?
Yes.
And that was painful.
Yes.
That was painful.
Yes.
But I had to realize, and God just said, just keep praying.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
And just to piggyback on that, I'm just so glad that even though I've reached out to other, I can say each woman that I look to as a mother figure, she today has an okay relationship with them. Like, I would have never thought someone would come in her house. I would never think that, because the pain that it caused through my process, and even today,
I'm
like
her
you say,
favorite, though. I'm her favorite.
You're a part of the family.
Yes,
so,
I'm family now.
So I'm just grateful to God that in that time that we built that relationship, in the time that we was going through our healing process, I still have a relationship with those who even was in the process, and she has no problem with that, because I don't try to replace my mama no more.
That's right.
That's not an option.
Yes.
that's
tell you, that's
not an
amazing.
option.
That is amazing, because when I started, I inherited her as my goddaughter. You know what I'm saying? And even, she was coming out like, who is this? Where did she come from? She's talking about God, mama. Where did she come from?
Right.
So, I understand that, but that was their disconnect, that she didn't know nothing about me, because she kept me from her mother, because she was from her mother. And they look at me and her building a whole little relationship over here, and they trying to figure out, like, who is this? Where did you come from?
And when we first met, that's what happened.
Exactly.
I'm looking where I was like, I did. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah.
This is transparent.
Moment of transparency.
Yeah.
Okay, let me be transparent.
Yes.
I said, what the?
Yes.
Who is this?
Yes.
And how in the world?
Yes.
She's gonna come in here and take my place?
Yes.
As a mom, okay, I've been there. That's what went
That's
through my
right,
mind.
moment of
Because that was
transparency.
the first time we met.
Yes.
And I saw you all's relationship. Well, why can't she treat
That's right.
Right.
That's
she
right.
didn't hug and greet me like she hugged and
Yes.
greeted you all.
Yes.
That was painful.
Yes.
I went home that night and I told my girlfriend, she said, don't worry about it. you're a mom. I
Yes.
said, yeah, but I don't feel like mom.
Yes, yes, yes.
But look what God has done.
Absolutely. And she'll tell you, I was like, you going to make it right with your mama.
That's one thing I can say.
I was like,
And all of them did. You need to go. Some things I can't give you,
Yeah,
you know.
right.
And now today I appreciate it, and you know, now today I see it. And since this is moment of transparency, I want to openly apologize to my mother
yes,
for the things that I've done and the things that I've said.
yes.
And I thank God that you know God. Because you could have knocked my head off. You know, and I just appreciate that you are a woman of God, because some things we can't do without God.
Yes,
And this
yes.
is one thing that could not have been done without God.
God.
So I want to openly apologize
You could, baby.
to you, Mommy. And I'm so grateful that we are here
Yes.
today.
Yes.
I do.
Yes.
I do.
Yes. And I want to thank you. I received that, baby. Let me.
Amen.
I do. I love you. Mommy, love you. But thank you for this platform,
Amen.
because this is an opportunity for healing for many.
Yes.
That people that you will probably never meet or be in the presence of. I thank God for you being obedient to God to do this. And I thank God for the healing that he's done, because I know not having a building and closing a building was different, because you felt for one point that you were a failure. But God said, not so.
Amen.
He said, I have something better in store that you will be able to meet, to help many
And reach the nation.
and reach the nation.
Yeah.
I thank you, woman of God. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Amen.
Thank you. And those of you who
Y'all
are
so deep.
watching, that may have a relationship with your mother or your father, or you are the child, I want you to think about what you just heard, and I want you to make it right.
Yes.
And just as she said, don't necessarily have to look for a conversation, but make it right. I wish I could ride by my mother's house. I wish I could go sit at her table and eat her good old food. I wish I could.
She don't cook, though.
I wish I could roll her. No, mother don't cook. Let me
She
tell
don't
y'all
cook,
something. I'm
though.
going to tell y'all something real funny, and we're going to get ready to wrap it up. So I think it was somebody asked her to cook some greens. And I'm telling you, the funniest thing, mother was like, look, she got arthritis in her hand. She was like, I ain't doing that. Mother don't cook.
She don't cook.
But I just thank and praise.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah,
you
she
can,
can,
though.
but she don't. But I thank and praise God for their sharing today, their moment of transparency. This was good tea.
Yes.
Take this tea, like you take all the other tea, take this tea and apply it to your own relationship. Whatever, maybe something you have experienced or something that you may experience. I want you to remember this episode of how we got here, because we can see people, we don't know people's story, but when it's a platform for them to share, it's for a reason. And I thank y'all for being my guests on today.
Thank you for having us.
I really thank and I appreciate that, even though they are close to me, but I just thank y'all that y'all came to share with everybody else. A moment of transparent. So until we see you again, we'll see you next week, and continue to know that your truth can set somebody free as well.
Amen.
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 My spot. Hey, come on and sip your tea.